bring it up later. I
I'm
like
like
that your
so
mic
tired.
I like that your mic has colors. My mic
You
is
didn't
here.
notice that? It's always had colors.
My mic is here, but it keeps getting blurred because they think it's the background. But it's
I don't
right
know
there.
which light color I should use, and I don't know if I should make it brighter or darker.
I like because those are the pink and blue are like Cost Talk colors. Cost Talk colors. Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hello.
We are so cash because like during the week, we're both like working our like normal job, and then we're like, oh
Yep.
yeah.
So I need to. So Facebook is still having that issue. It's still having the error, the integration error.
Yeah, it just popped
I'm
up.
going to try and delete it and re-add it. But
Okay.
for those of you who want to watch, I highly recommend moving away from Facebook. They're having issues right now. I'm trying to add it back, but they're having a lot of significant integration issues. It says it's working right now. We'll see what happens. So if you are on Facebook and it drops, I apologize, but they are really just they're making a lot of changes through Meta, and unfortunately, it's causing some problems with the streaming API we use, which an API is a connector that you use to go to other social medias. So we'll keep it simple.
On Facebook.
It's 100% Facebook's fault.
Don't tell Facebook. All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us midweek. Yes, again, we are changing up our schedule. And Sam was so amazing to put our schedule on Facebook events. Oh, she says, hold on a minute. So if you're confused, check. Why are you on the ground, Sam? Oh, she forgot. Okay.
I forgot the switch is on the ground.
I saw Sam's butt for a second.
Hi.
Anyway, yeah. So obviously, we're changing up our stream schedule to kind of see if what works better with our schedules and our viewer schedules. So we always love feedback. Let us know what you think. This is a pretty good time for me because usually after this, like there's rock band at Konakawa. Not tonight because unfortunately the host is sick, but I could probably just like get dressed, do the show, and then go play some rock band. Yeah, okay, sorry. Tangent. Hi, my name is Jinx Cosplay. I've been cosplaying since 2001, based here in the Metro Phoenix area. I do a lot of video game cosplays, Disney, yeah.
And I'm Thermo Cosplay. I'm also based in the Metro Phoenix area, sort of. And
the metropolis of Phoenix.
in Arizona. And I have had a crazy day, so forgive me for not being in cosplay. I just couldn't do it. Literally, my eye's still twitching. That's how crazy my day is. My eye keeps twitching. And I've been cosplaying since, oh gosh, what was I? 2014. So I'm almost at 10 years.
Yay! Next year's your 10 year.
The mood is I need a piece of pizza.
Me too. I could totally use pizza. Oof. No carbs though.
That's been my day.
You need to plan something for your 10 year. I totally missed my 10 year.
I really want to do a new Mass Effect. That's kind of one of the reasons why I saved Irene for next year. So I want to go I want to do a Mass Effect cosplay, and I think I want to redo my Kratos. Oh. And go full dude with full dude chest, full dude beard, just go crazy. And then I'll need a voice changer.
You're making me you're putting pressure on me too now. I have to do Arya to match your Irene.
Yes. You need to be my girlfriend.
I'll be your girlfriend. Right, so. Oh, right. Today's topic.
Yeah. So today's topic is we're talking a little bit about cosplayer safety. We did a presentation on this at FanFusion, and a lot of people had questions, and some people were even surprised, things that they hadn't really considered. So we're going to talk about how to stay safe at conventions, how to stay safe online, how to stay safe when not at conventions, just kind of going through the whole gamut of what to be aware of when you're a cosplayer, what you'll probably be exposed to. A lot of people, they dress up, they have fun, but they don't realize that unfortunately there is a toxic and dangerous side. Just to any hobby. You could be a woodworker, a wood carver. You're really good at it, and if you don't know how to use a soldering iron perfectly, you will hurt yourself. So, just being aware of the safety required in this hobby is what we wanted to share with everybody. So, once again, I am Thermo. I am in casual wear today because someone stole the catalytic converter from my car. And so I've just had a rough day. So I decided I was still going to be here, but I'm not in cosplay. So we're talking about cosplayer safety. We're going to do mindfulness, awareness, and security.
Heck yeah. Let's do it.
And I might have to stop, just heads up, at 7 o'clock. I have to stop and pause. I'll let you speak. I have to take medication at 7 every day.
Okay.
So yeah.
Woohoo!
Okay.
Don't pop.
Well, Matt's not here. We love you anyway. Somna Matt, head in the clouds.
Again, this is a panel that we've done, and we've kind of figured that, like, we've done a lot of panels as groups and Sam as individuals, and so we're gonna start bringing a few more of those onto the show because why
Can you
not?
see a creepy head in the background?
I can. I can. Yes.
Maybe I don't have.
Why is it not on its body? So if you guys have any questions based on like our presentation or anything, definitely throw them in the chat. This is not a end all be all official rule book. This is just things that we've learned in our years of cosplaying, and of course, and other areas of life as well. For me personally, outside of cosplay, I was a flight attendant for 6 years. I traveled all over the world. I traveled to different countries and cities, and usually went around by myself. So sometimes these kinds of things I've learned in my regular job life, definitely works in my cosplay life.
Yeah, that works for me too, because my day job is a cybersecurity specialist, supervisor. So I am very much aware of how to stay secure online. So we kind of take your in-person experience and my digital experience. We just mesh them.
Just mesh them. Woohoo! Oh, that's me. And of course, when we talk about like safety, we're talking about people that are responsible for themselves. Minors and those that may need assistance or have a guardian or parent with them, they are not expected to have to look out for themselves. So as for adults, you always need to be responsible for yourself.
Yep, adults and or emancipated people. So
yeah, emancipated peoples.
Yeah, we just want to make you aware that this is definitely for individuals who are responsible for themselves, so that they can be aware. However, some of these rules can help parents and other people who are protectors for certain individuals apply these rules and help as well.
So Ryan is commenting as usual. Did you ever cosplay when you were overseas, Jinx? Yes, I cosplayed in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and in London. So, hey.
Okay, so purpose of this panel, purpose is to tell you guys about this stream today, because we decided, like Jinx said, we should probably bring some of the information we put into panels into streams so that they can stay on in posterity and people can really reference them in the future and be like, hey, what was it that they said? Here you go. So purpose is, first and foremost, we want to make sure that you're responsible for your own safety, and that it absolutely begins with you. It begins with being aware of your surroundings, present, have clarity of mind, so clear-headed. You want to be aware of where you're going. Are you going to a comic convention, a festival, a cosplay event, any sort of public event? Doesn't matter whether you are in costume or out of costume, you want to be aware of your surroundings. So while there are security measures in place for these special events, you still need to ensure your own safety level as well, and kind of take steps to make sure you get home safe.
Absolutely. Depending on, again, like Sam said, what kind of event you're going to, even if there are different levels of security, if there's a higher level of security at this specific event, you still should not be complacent just because, someone else is out there watching out for me.
Yep.
So
we have a big rule of travel in packs, and boy, do we travel in packs.
Absolutely, yeah.
So no person left behind rule.
Yeah. And
even if someone wants to stay late at a con, we go back and we're like,
yeah, and we pick up people as we go too.
Yeah.
What's
You're like,
that?
it's 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. Where are you? I'm outside the building. You're here? Yeah. No person left behind. As a matter of fact, there's 6 of us here for you. So, like, yeah. Yeah. All right. So, things we want to kind of like and tell you about, how to interact. So, um, I don't know why some of my wording, I noticed that some of the text got funny. I apologize, but you want to protect your personal information. So, a lot of people, when they go up to a con, they're trying to make friends. So, sometimes they might come up and ask you a very personal question. Make sure you have your boundaries established. Make sure you go, if someone goes up, oh, hi, my name's so and so. What's your name? If you don't feel comfortable sharing your name, don't share your name. If you feel comfortable sharing your handle, tell them your handle. If you say, hey, I just met you, can I just ask why you want to know my name? Uh, am I wearing something? Did you see me at a panel? Why are you interested in knowing who I am? And that's okay to ask that question. A lot of people get uncomfortable, immediately answer with their personal name, and then all of a sudden that person has an N and they can begin to continuously wear you down with questions that you may not be comfortable with. So make sure that you are okay with setting a barrier or a boundary. If you are not, we recommend bringing somebody with you that is comfortable with doing that and setting secret phrases for you to say when you're uncomfortable so that person knows to butt in on the conversation and say, hey, we've got to go somewhere. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but this individual has a schedule. Or, hey, isn't it time that you eat? Hey, we've got to leave and feed this. Just some kind of thing to help you escape that scenario if you're uncomfortable doing so.
Now, if you're around Sam and friends and someone tells Sam, hey, you need to eat, that's not a Q word. It's just because she never eats at events. So don't think that we're trying to like code word here. No, she just probably needs to eat. But
I ate 2 meals today. I'm proud of myself.
good job. Wow. I'm surprised considering all the stuff that you've been going through.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Also,
had like
if
5
someone,
hours of meetings at work today, so I don't know how that worked. That happened, but yeah.
yeah, you're busy, busy, busy. Also, if anyone makes you uncomfortable from the get go, you don't need to, you don't owe them anything. You don't need to give them any kind of information. You can just be like, I gotta go, bye. If someone's coming up right up to you, like, hey, what's your name? It's not
And it
kindergarten.
happens, like it does. Or someone might make a comment, and if you just feel uncomfortable and you do not want to interact with them, you don't even have to say anything. You can just walk away. You can just walk right away.
Absolutely. That's the safest thing to do is just like, excuse yourself, walk away. You don't need to put yourself, if you don't feel comfortable in that situation, then just get out of it. I know it's easier said than done, but that's kind of the basic rules.
Yeah, and this is
Um,
where enforcing safety in numbers tends to come better. So if you travel with someone who can help you maintain that safety, you just grab their hand and you turn and walk away. That might be like an indication they understand you want to get out of that situation. So both physical and verbal cues will really help. I can give you guys an example. During panels and presentations, there are moments where I get very excited and speak too fast. And so my sister Lena will tap my leg under the table, and that
yeah.
notifies me I need to slow down. So you can set cues like that to help you interact with others that you may not feel comfortable speaking to.
Yeah. Now I need to know. I'll just kick you. So I
I can
remember when
barely
you,
even read the text.
I know.
I don't know what happened.
Well, I think you imported it or you exported it from what, Google
Here,
Slides?
let me remove this for a second. What I can probably do is let me do a slideshow here. Let me exit full screen.
So while Sam figures out some technical finagling,
Yeah.
throw in the chat where you're watching us from. I want
Yeah.
to see where you're watching us from because we stream simultaneously to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and we're consistently like reevaluating our stream goals and would love to see where everybody is watching from. So don't be shy. Throw it in the chat. And if you're watching us from one platform, you could follow us on the other ones too, because that definitely helps us.
There you go.
There we go.
Hey, I'm assuming you guys can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So after you've kind of established a communication with your friends, here are some suggestions for boundary phrases with a new person or with whomever you're traveling. It is absolutely okay that if someone approaches you or if you're in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, Say you're uncomfortable. Say I am uncomfortable. Say stop doing this, please. Make sure your voice is strong and loud so that people around you can hear it and understand that you might be in a predicament you're not, happy with. um we talk about please do not touch me or please do not touch this, especially when you're in costume. There's sometimes where individuals get really excited, they run up to you. I can give one example. I was at a Renaissance fair, which is a secure event. There's lots of security. There are guards in disguise, there's police officers, there are rules, there's code of conduct. I was sitting down enjoying a show, and this older couple came running up to me because they were super excited to see the armor that I'd made, and they didn't understand what it was made out of, and they just started touching me without my permission.
No touch.
Now, I was too startled to respond because I never actually had anybody touch me like that before. My brother laughs and says, "Hey, maybe you should ask her." And they backed up and were like, "Oh, we're so sorry. It's just it looks like metal, but it's not." And then we proceeded to talk about like what my costume was made from. But sometimes you might be startled. So that's another reason why I like having a person around, because if you're so startled, you're like, what the, why is this person filling up my boobs? And that was the one thing, is like, I couldn't feel any of it. It was a big chest piece, but the fact that they just immediately went for that and not my shoulder pieces really surprised me. So
A little excited. Raul says, I watch the streams off my phone on Facebook. Awesome. Always great to see you. And Ryan with his troll comedy here, he's watching from Egypt. I'm sure you are. It must be like 6 a.m. there right now. In fact, he is watching from, way out there. Anyway.
Yeah, seriously. Another thing you want to consider is maybe you are comfortable having people come to you at a con, but maybe you're getting tired or worn out. And there are some moments where you're getting asked constantly to have photos taken of you, right?
Mhm.
You get surrounded. And when you're swarmed, sometimes it's really hard. So what I like to do is I just turn my back and start walking through the like best open area I have. Usually there's like a separation between the photographers, and I say I'm done with this shoot or I'm finished taking photos, and I leave. I just walk away because after posing for like 20 minutes, you probably spent.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not saying throw tantrums or scream and shout,
Just be
but
firm in your response.
yeah, just be firm. Again, remove yourself from the situation. Just say the minimum of what needs to be said. You don't need to give a whole book on why you need to remove yourself from the situation.
Nope.
Just be assertive and clear and direct. That's it.
And I mean, I've had some people, they go, okay, can I follow you? And if I feel comfortable, yeah, just I need some water or I need to take a seat, and I'll let them follow me. And then they start talking to me, asking me questions. I've made friends that way. But if you don't want them to follow you, just say, no, I apologize, but I really do need a break. And most people, if they're good people, which most of them at cons are, they will disperse. Now, if you ever have problems, we'll talk about how to deal with that in the future. We do discuss that in this. You can also set a firm boundary if someone says something that's inappropriate. So for me, when I'm at cons, if someone says, "Oh my gosh, you're the best person, best so and so I've ever seen," so I usually get, "Oh my gosh, you're the best Lady Dimitrescu I've ever seen. You're better than the last girl I saw." I stop and I say, I don't mind you saying you consider me the best you've seen. I do not feel comfortable with you comparing me to someone else. I'm at different skill levels. We probably have different body types. There's different privileges enacted there. It's not at all fair for you to compare me to another person. You are allowed to say I'm your favorite. That is okay, because that's not creating a comparison or creating a bias between cosplayers. You always want to be cautious of your unconscious. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't know my phone was on. You want to be cautious of unconscious bias phrases where you're comparing people with others, because it can make them feel incompetent and start affecting their self-confidence. So that's a boundary that I set for myself. And I'm very like calm and forward with this response, and I educate people on it. Typically most are like, "Oh, I didn't even think about it that way. Hey, thanks." And it's just letting people know, hey, it's not really fair to try and compare others.
And a lot of times people think that what they say is a joke, right? We've grown a lot in the last several decades where I hear this phrase a lot where, "Oh, that used to be okay." Maybe like lightly racist comments or sexist jokes in the, in the
And
workplace.
that's where you say, okay, it may have been at one point, but at this moment in time, I no longer feel comfortable with it.
I feel like, I'll say like it never was okay, but nobody said anything, right?
Some
did
people,
we,
yeah, some people you can be that forward. Other people, and that's the thing too, is being aware, socially aware of your situation. Most of the time, it is absolutely going to be safe enough to be like, that's never been okay. But there are some instances where, and you'll have,
I would say that.
oh, you would say that, but I've had some instances where this person's been aggressive.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
I know that if I say something that can turn them the wrong way, so I cater to their bias until I can get to a safe place or to a person that can help me drive this
And
person
that,
away.
and that goes into a way deeper
Yep.
conversation about what is expected. And I speak from the viewpoint of a woman of color. So I can't speak for every woman, but I know that most women have experienced something like this where they kind of have to placate the situation just in
Yes.
order to be, to keep themselves safe. But in a
Yep.
situation, somebody says something that is off colors,
And they may
not
not
really
even be aware
politically
of it.
correct.
Yeah.
And they might not be aware of it. You can be like, oh, that's, I don't really like that statement, or, I don't appreciate that statement. And if they ask why, you can let them know. That could be an educational opportunity, but it doesn't always need to be.
No,
All
no.
you got to say is, what you feel about it. And that's as much as you owe people.
Exactly. And if it really gets serious, that's where you say, "Hey, I'm going to scream, make noise if you continue doing this." That's typically last resort. I don't think I've ever had to do that, but that's also, I'm a little bit intimidating. I'm not a very small person. So usually when I use my strong voice, when I use what I call as my boss voice, I typically don't have to do this, but I have had to step in front of people to protect them and say, I will make a lot of noise unless you go away, or
Yeah.
I will defend this person. I have had to do that before. And don't be afraid to make a lot of noise if it means you feel safer. So now that we've kind of moved past boundary phases, phases. Bleh. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about self-help. So what you can do, absolutely, you have 100% control over the data that you share. So we mentioned, if someone comes up and asks you questions, you only have to share what you feel comfortable with sharing.
And you know what? Like, if you're not comfortable giving your name and you don't have like another handle, you can give them a fake name. Like, this is all safety stuff.
Or you can say the character you are.
Or you can say the character you are. Yeah. What's your name? I'm Moana.
I mean, I've had a lot of people do that. And I'm
Name?
like,
Moana.
yeah, you're like, I'm Moana, like, I'm Merida.
Yeah. And again, you don't owe people anything. And we're not saying like go and like be some other persona and like mess with people's heads and stuff. It's really just to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, or you can just give a nickname or just your first name. You never have to give them your whole name and social security number, bank account, and blood type. Don't worry.
But Jessica, that's how I get millions of dollars from that person that's in Nigeria, right? That prince,
yeah.
that
I'm
email.
sure I'm sure they can find someone else to
That email is so
drain
funny.
bank account.
But you'll want to, you can control the data you share in person. You can also control the data that you share online. So making sure that you don't have any of your profiles completely open to the public, making sure that all of your private information is secured under what I call multi-factor authentications, called MFA. And things that you, unless you absolutely have to provide your home address or phone number for verification, don't get them. Typically with new privacy laws now, you're only required to insert your first and last name and your email address. Companies really shouldn't need any more than that. And if they do, they have to tell you in their terms of service why.
Mm-hmm. And also something that was really, it's I don't think I've heard of it so much as a problem now, but it still is tagging your location.
Yeah.
Sure, at big events, at the Phoenix Convention Center.
Saying that you checked in for like a hurricane, or you're at a big event that someone expects you to be at so they can find you. Yeah.
But when you're out and about every day, just be aware of what people can see and what they might know and how much they can piece together.
Also, yeah, don't put your cosplay pics on your personal page if you don't want people tying you back to your handle.
Right. So, tagging other people and tagging where you are, all that's fun. And yeah, it can increase engagement and all this other algorithm BS, the algorithm BS. But in the end, like, it really is about your safety.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep. Make sure you, we mentioned paying attention. We kind of mentioned that a lot in the beginning. Make sure you do bring something that can charge your mobile devices or your laptop or whatever you need that you use for communication. Or have the ability to be like figure out where the call boxes are, the free call boxes that are in most large event spaces. Also make sure you're telling someone where you're going and who you're with.
Always let somebody know. A family member or friend that's not going, and who you're going with is especially important, because if they can't find you, they're going to go find that other person.
Yep.
So make sure that you give them as much information as you can.
Yeah, and I tend to like when we're at a large event, unless it's the end of the day and I know I'm going to be heading back to my hotel or I'm going back home, I avoid any substance that could affect my cognition. So anything that could affect my memory or my ability to speak or walk, I tend to
Mhm.
avoid that. Or I make sure I have a designated handler that can help me back to wherever I need to go.
Absolutely. After con shenanigans and drinks, like, I would never, I mean, I would probably even pay for the Uber, even if it's like a $10 Uber to take me from like half a mile. I'd rather do that than walk alone in the dark,
Mhm.
slightly inebriated in a
Yep.
costume.
Plus, another reason why I don't do this is I wanna make sure I'm aware of where my belongings are.
Mhm.
Often when you're in cosplay, if you don't have pockets or things built into your costume, you have separate items that you're carrying that contains all of your pertinent information and belongings. So avoiding any form of inebriation or intoxication or, just delirium, as we like to call it, is just best unless you have someone that's designated to care for you.
Absolutely.
So, alright, let me oh no. Okay, sorry, my my mouse decided to go to sleep. Okay. Like, I was like, "No, wake up, mouse."
Oh, he looks
So
so
we're gonna
evil.
move into part 2 of what you can control. When you're at an event, make sure you know where the safe spaces are. Every convention now has it marked either through a color-coded system, a number system, or on a map, and you'll find it usually by, like, there's some kinda symbol, a star or like, a stop symbol or a safety symbol of some kind.
Even like the information desk.
Mhm.
Information desk, or out in the lobby. If you're somewhere deep in the convention center and you don't know, it's just find the lobby or get
Yep.
outside. Usually that's a safe bet as well. Yeah, just make sure that you know before you go, especially if it's a ginormous place that you've never been to before.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to Salt Lake next week, even though I don't have a car. I'm going to have a car. Yay,
Yee.
insurance. But I'm going to Salt Lake and I've never been to this convention center. So I've been intermittently looking at Google Maps and getting Google satellite images of the area so that I know what streets I need to walk through when I'm going from the apartment that I'm staying in to the convention center. What entrances are safe, what people recommend. I'm reading forums. I've been talking to people that have gone to the Salt Palace Convention Center just so that I'm aware of what my surroundings are. And the first day, I don't have any plans because I want to ensure I explore and find all the safety places, all the safe places for that event. So just being aware of your surroundings. Also, um, you know, just know that the convention's not a shield. So when you go there, yes, they do have safety and code of conduct, but that doesn't mean that things can't happen. So just know that you can't use a convention or an event or an expo as a shield. You will still need to manage your own information and your own being. So that leads us to management, where you need to keep your stuff close. And if you're not good at keeping your stuff close, you have a friend with a backpack that all your stuff is on their back, and you know it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, safe bet is usually, keep your money, wallet, anything like that in an interior pocket of the bag that you're carrying, never on an exterior pocket. Um, Keep things that drag out of what kept dragging or last event. Oh, your badge kept dragging.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So when we were at
Tucson.
Tucson, I was the one day that I was wearing, like, most of the two of the days I had it on a location where it was much higher up, but the day I was dressed as Toothless, my badge kept dragging on the ground and I was completely unaware, and by some miracle, nobody stepped on my badge, but they kept stepping on my skirt, which wasn't even that long. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, so Sam had a little lapse of clarity there, and so I was constantly like, Sam, your badge, your badge.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I was like, okay, maybe I should just wrap this up a little higher.
yeah, badges especially, because those are easy. One time Phoenix Fan Fusion or Phoenix Comic Fest, or I cannot remember what it was. I guess Sam's gonna take a break real quick. And they had bracelets, and I was like, I don't want to. What the heck? So I put the bracelet on where it was easy enough for me to take off. And of course, like, I take it off for a photo shoot, put it in my bag, and then it's gone. So that was 100% my fault, but it happens. People lose badges all the time. Badges are no longer specific to that person.
That's
Like, they
the
used to
weird thing
print them.
about Salt Lake FanX. They mailed me badges that are wristbands, and it has like a QR code on it, and I'm like, how am I supposed to, like? I'm now second guessing one of my costumes because I don't know if I want to do body makeup with.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine, especially if you do photo shoot. You can always Photoshop it.
Yeah,
you know. So yeah, Sam already mentioned Awareness Con is not a shield. They will
also say something, so make sure you find who the staff and security members are. Yes. For instance, at Fan Fusion, they have like blue shirts or yellow shirts. Other conventions have like red shirts. So just make sure you know what color of shirt to look for. Or I think Emerald City Comic Con, they have like a black shirt that has huge lettering that says security. So just be aware of those individuals.
Yeah, and these events like this will have security in place. But remember, they're usually hired private security, and there's a lot of things they can't do as security that, that police can do. So you also need to be aware of that, as well, as they're kind of like the liaison between the public and, law enforcement, because they still would need to contact law enforcement and get them over there before they can even put hands on somebody. So just be aware of that as well. And remember that they're not like your parents. They're not like your personal bodyguards. They're there for the general public. And of course, they're there if you need help. But, first of all, you always have to remember your own safety as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Raul says, have fun. Thermal
Thank
cosplay.
you.
Anthony says, hello, ladies. You two look great. Thank you. Watching from Facebook. And I love this picture. I love this picture. This is the girlfriend, or the jealous
boyfriend. Yeah. So
wandering eyes boyfriend.
Here are some things that conventions can do, and Jinx already touched a little bit upon this. Conventions can contact authorities. They can help you. They can make sure that that they're alert of the area. They can pay attention on your behalf. They can absolutely secure a formal discussion area for you. So if you did have an incident happen, they can find a quiet room for you where you can cool down. Most of the time they'll have water and snacks, and they'll take a formal report. I have seen them act as mediators between people who have had an argument in the middle of a convention and calm, everything down to figure out what the source of the problem was. And they can absolutely corroborate your story to the authorities for legal purposes. So if they witnessed what was occurring as well, they can act as a witness for you and provide additional testimony. So make sure you are familiar. Oh, go ahead, buddy.
Oh, no, I was saying the key here is it needs to be done
right away,
almost immediately. Yeah, report needs to be done as soon as you possibly can,
because the longer you wait, the more other people can be affected. Also, the more your brain forgets what actually happened, and so you might actually be bringing in some of your own unconscious bias, thinking it was worse than what it was, or thinking the person looked like this but they looked something different. So you want to do it right away.
And again, like Sam mentioned, other people could get harmed. So if you stay quiet, again, other people's safety is not your responsibility. But if it was brought up to the awareness of law enforcement or whoever is in charge of keeping people safe, they can work on getting that person out of the area. Or
they can consult them, ask what happened. Sometimes it's a kid being stupid and they just need to be reprimanded, and they get a warning. Other times it's something more serious and they can absolutely ban them and then pursue additional legal enforcement if that's what you want to do. You know, they can press charges. So notifying immediately is better. Also, that person could become a hazard not only to other people but to themselves, because sometimes when people become so overpowered with their rudeness, it's belligerent. So you just want to help
Well,
not
and
have to experience that again, and it might also help you empower your ability to create more boundaries.
and the more that this person gets away with whatever behavior they're doing, the more
The worse it
confident they'll
gets.
just get in it.
Yeah.
So again, sometimes it's a miscommunication. Sometimes it's somebody who just isn't sure, social boundaries or whatever. But sometimes it's a predator, and the more and more that they get away with it, the confident they'll be.
Yeah.
And yeah, I listen to way too
And that's
many
why
true
we're
crime
so big
podcasts.
about telling the person who's in front of you how you're feeling or what your boundaries are. Because if you're confronting them right away and they backpedal and go, "I'm so sorry, I didn't know," then it was absolutely a misunderstanding. But if they get real aggressive and angry, you immediately go find that security and you make sure that they're banned, because we don't need individuals like that in the community being rude to others.
No, absolutely not.
So make sure you are familiar with your convention safety policies so you know where to go and who to contact should something happen. A lot of conventions now have emergency numbers. Some of them have QR codes everywhere, so you just scan a phone and it immediately pops up a number and you call. Some of them even just have forms that fill out, and there's people that literally sit in a room all day long during the con and just look for these form submissions.
Yeah.
So just be aware.
Yeah. Be
All
aware.
right. Okay, you know what? Why do you keep going to sleep? I just charged you.
Oh, well, it's late. It's after work.
Yep. Okay, so let's talk about what social media can do for you if you feel like your boundaries have been crossed. You can log harassment. I don't know if you've noticed this, but harassment, as we like to joke, harassment, you can report it. Most posts through Meta and YouTube, there's a feature that says you can report junk, spam, or harassment, and then a little form will pop up and ask you to elaborate on what has occurred. You know, was it fraud? Was it really a scam? Is this something that's like a hate crime? What is it that you're witnessing that needs to be logged? So I really appreciate that more and more are doing that, because it's allowing people's civil liberties to be protected. There are individuals who are completely mistreated frequently online, and having these forms active and reporting to a legal agency, which they are required to do. They have to report to some kind of legal counsel, a paralegal, or a counsel like a lawyer themselves. And that's one thing you can do, is you can absolutely log their harassment. You can also censor content. So a big thing I do is I have a list of words that people are not allowed to post on any of my pages, private and cosplay. I also block certain links, and I also block their ability to post rapid fire. So,
Also, ooh, am I freezing up here?
yes, you
Can you
are.
hear me? Oh no!
Oh,
But you
you're
can
good
hear
now.
me?
You're back. Hi.
Yay! I was like, I'm watching myself in the camera, and I'm like, I look really sleepy.
Yeah, you just look like you were blinking really slow.
But just to go back onto the whole logging harassment, if if you make a report and it doesn't go anywhere, or you think it doesn't go anywhere, I mean, if other people are making reports on the same person or the same account, this is what happens when a lot of people like someone made a fake account of me, and I'm like, woo, am I famous now? Woo. But the more and more and more people that go and report it, it will become, we will make a mountain out of a molehill. So I pretty much report every like spam account that comes through, and every comment that's made that's, pretty racist or offensive. Because at some point, this person's going to get like, what, 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. So even if you think, oh, well, whatever, I'm going to forget about it, it's not a big deal. Just do it. It doesn't really take that much longer out of your life. And eventually that person could be removed. And yeah, and also it leaves a trail of what you've been doing to protect yourself.
Yep. And if you've gotten to the point where you've done everything you can to keep this person from posting on your account, you can block them. You absolutely can control what you see. It's social media. The whole point of your profile is for your profile to show you what you want to see. So you can block and report You can even report ads. So like if you feel like you're being targeted, you can do that too. But you can block individuals, even groups or pages who you feel are going crossing the boundaries you don't feel comfortable with them crossing.
Blocking is such an important tool, and I think people just don't think of it. They think, oh well, I should have to have like this huge blowout fight with this
Well, I
person
think
in order
some
to
of them
block
also
them.
feel like embarrassed. So if you don't really want to block a person, you can also restrict them.
Hmm.
So you can restrict how they interact with your page if you feel as though they're just maybe a little socially impaired, and that's okay. You can restrict how they interact with your page too.
Now, also, it's interesting to note that again, when we talked about earlier about how sometimes you have to placate people for your own safety. Sometimes it depends if this person knows you in person, in real life, what you have to restrict on social media. Because I haven't had instances, but I've had situations where I think if I block this person on social media, they still see me, every so often at whatever event,
I've had that
So,
happen. I actually blocked a person. They met me in an event. They asked why I blocked them. And I said, because you were posting a content that I found incredibly inappropriate and rude. And I felt like it was targeting members of my family who are people of color that I couldn't see that. I couldn't appreciate it. And I had told you before that, this impacts people I love. And so I can't see your content anymore. And, it's sometimes people get brazen online and say things that they have in their heads that they think, oh, it's okay if I say it once. And it just cascades. And it's
yeah.
not okay. They instead of working on those biases, they just let them grow.
And um, like when I say that if you know that person in person, also depends on what relationship you have with them, right? Like Sam was comfortable enough to tell them why they were unblocked. Some people are not. Like sometimes the block is like, that's my indirect way of dealing with conflict, So I don't have an answer for you of what to do in that situation. It really is up to you to figure out how you interact with this person.
Mhm.
But just be aware of that. If they can still find you in person, in public,
Just
or
be
other
prepared
things,
for
be
possible
prepared.
confrontation if that person takes social media really seriously. You'd have to take it very seriously if you're gonna do that, and some people do. Some people, that is the crutch upon
Some
which they
people do.
stand, and I don't understand it.
Hey,
But that's okay, to each their own, and that's where you have to make a decision about what you want to say in person. Finally, you wanna really pay attention to your profile security. Control who sees you, when they see you, and how they see you. Um,
yes.
if I think at some point I should probably do a video series on security controls for all the social media platforms except for TikTok. I hate you, TikTok. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I hate you. Like TikTok does some real shady thing, and Temu. Don't touch Temu if you're a shopper. Just don't do it. But
Ruh-roh.
there's just certain things that some applications ask for on your profile that are really unnecessary, and you can absolutely go in after creating the profile and completely remove them and hide that information. So I think
Now
that's a future stream.
I don't know how many people are on Facebook because apparently Facebook is like for old people now. But Facebook has quite a lot of different security settings for who, and you can make
So does
lists.
Instagram, YouTube as
Mhm.
well. TikTok does, but they don't actually. If you set your TikTok security up, it's a lie. Just so you know. As someone who comes from security can tell you, it's an absolute lie. They don't actually do what you tell them to. Um, but
Naughty TikTok,
yeah, same thing with Twitter. They've
naughty
fallen.
naughty X.
Yeah. Twitter's going pretty bad. Pretty bad with stealing the informations.
Ruh-roh.
Um, but yeah, no, I agree with you. Facebook has really good profile security. So does Instagram. Some of these companies, though, they had to get hit with the law in order for this to
Mhm.
happen. So just
Yeah,
kind of think about like how you're going to use social media, why you need it, and what you actually want to put up.
good call. Uh-oh. What's on the next
Is that
slide?
a hiccup or a burp or a hiccup?
That was it was
A
like
hiccup.
I cleared my throat and then I went, uh-oh. Uh-oh. I can't recreate it. I don't know. Go back and
You
watch the
sounded like
podcast.
Shaggy, an anime character, and a hiccup and a burp all got together and had a party.
Okay. Interesting description. I'll take it.
All right, so let's talk about police action. So say that whatever's happened to you has become it was serious. I can give an example because apparently I'm just full of examples. I was at a convention. It was one of the first times I actually wore a costume. I was wearing my Demon Hunter, first costume I'd ever made, first costume I'd ever worn to a large Comic Con, and someone ran by and struck me on my backside on my butt so hard that it left a welt. And my
Oh,
stepdad,
that
I
is
turned
awful.
around and almost fell over and bumped into another person, was apologizing. And my stepdad was in his wheelchair chasing this person. And they went up an escalator, but he got a good look at him and we found security and reported them. And apparently this person had been a serial butt slapper. And I was like their sixth or seventh victim of the day. So that person eventually ended up being permanently banned because there were so many people saying the same exact look and they found him. But you can take police action. You can submit a verbal report on site. There for large events that reach a certain number of people, they are required by law to have police presence. You can file them legally online or in person. You can initiate the process for serving orders of protection as well. So if you feel as though there's an individual that keeps following you around from event to event to event and harassing you, you absolutely have, it's within your right to serve what's called an order of protection or an injunction of harassment. They'll usually start with the injunction until if the person violates it, then it goes into an order of protection. You can also have the authorities mediate between parties on a legal level and do like a cease and desist or whatever it is you need to ask for, not only just in person, but they are now doing these for social media issues. So, for instance, Arizona has a website now that says if you encounter some kind of social media harassment or bullying, here's a site, and you can submit this form along with all the evidence. And they actually have detectives that are dedicated to cybercrime. So the protective services are there. Finally, they can arrest anybody if they're still present. Like if that person is right there or they're at the con and security's targeted them. Sometimes security, what they'll do is they'll follow that person around quietly until the police arrive, because a lot of times the security conventions can't arrest, like Jinx mentioned. So they'll follow them around, having them tagged. And
They can't
sometimes
even touch them.
they won't even touch it. I've seen
They
them
can't even
sometimes where
touch
they walk through and they accidentally bump into a person and they leave like a sticky note on them. So they found like this bright color. Like they get creative sometimes too if
them.
they
Get
really are
tagged.
worried
Yeah.
about losing that person.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time they have someone tagged and they say, hey, they're heading up this escalator, and the person takes over and they just start, traveling, and they've got a photo that's being passed around to all the phones. And once the police arrive, they arrest the person quietly and move along.
I do
That's
like
actually what they had to
seeing.
do with Fan Fusion when the individual brought in the large bag of guns.
Oh
His
yeah.
friend tagged him, and they had security just following him around quietly. They had them change their shirts into black shirts, and they had him following around and found what room he was camping out in, and were able to arrest him.
Yeah, I'm glad to see more police presence. Like, they'll have actual booths in the conventions now, like Phoenix PD and Chandler PD, and I like seeing them there. And it's cool seeing them walk around, and they seem to enjoy it too. So, anyway, we are getting close to the end here. Wow.
I can't believe that. It's crazy.
Next.
So
Well, this is an
we're
hour-long panel, so
Yeah. So let's real quick before we start wrapping up, which we are getting close to the end on this particular discussion. Let's talk about biases. So there are different kinds of biases, but the biases that we encounter the most as cosplayers would probably be racial and ethnic biases. Saying, well, you're black, so you can't be this character, or you're Asian, and so you're too short for this character, or you're too overweight. So we're talking about like physical appearance as well. We've seen people who wear hijabs and create amazing, elaborate, basically it looks like wigs. They're incredible. And people make a comment about, well, they can't wear that. That's not how the character does that. And that's a religious bias. So making sure you're aware of don't pay attention. Like it doesn't matter age, sex, religion, ethnicity, physical appearance, or physical state. If the individual's in a wheelchair or they're on crutches, who cares? If they are wearing a costume, they're very happy in that costume, let them be. Let them
and
enjoy their
if
outfit.
you're not happy that they're in that costume, then it's your problem.
Yep,
Like, go get some
absolutely.
therapy.
Don't take your problems and put it on others. And if someone does
Yeah.
this to you, just so you know, almost every single one of these biases on this list are federally protected. So if you document, record what that person's doing, they will go to federal court and they will be prosecuted. I almost said persecuted, but that was what the person experiencing is how. Yeah. Anyways, those words are too close to one another.
You got it, Sam.
So
Right.
don't be afraid to punish bullies.
Let's punish bullies. But and especially if you're somebody that's not as confident to speak out against bullies, that's fine. Like, you don't have to make yourself uncomfortable. But if you're someone who's like, yeah, I'm a little more outspoken, like, say something. If you see comments on somebody else's Instagram about, oh, you're too fat to be Superman, you can jump in there and be like, it's like, who cares? Why does it bother you? Go find some other hobby. Like, is your hobby like, ragging on cosplayers?
Yeah, like the biggest thing I get is that I'm too tall or too heavy to be most characters.
Yeah, Sam's an Amazon, so she definitely makes a great Amazon, but she can make a great whatever else she wants as well.
I also seem to really like gender bending characters.
You actually like to play, and I've mentioned this, you like to play the littlest character.
Yes. Yeah. Or a male character that I turn into a woman.
Yeah, because like you cosplayed Draculaura, Monster High.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of the shorter characters, and you were like miles taller than me.
And Nora from Ruby, and she's tiny. Mm-hmm. So
and
yeah.
Toadette is like, they're little, the toads are little, and you're just like, like a goddess here. So I always notice that about Sam. She's like, I want to be blah blah blah, whoever the smallest one is. So
yep. And then we make it funny, and we try to take funny photos of where everyone else is really tall above me, and they're trying to make me look short.
Yeah.
Sometimes it ends up being more of a challenge, like a funny challenge, but just let people enjoy the characters whom they love. Really, that's more of the message we're trying to put here.
Absolutely.
But also warning you that a lot of these biases, if you encounter them, or if you are pushing them on others, you could actually be breaking the law.
Yeah. And you know what? Go find a new hobby. Go spend your time somewhere else.
Apparently this one wanted to do, that was just for Phoenix Fan Fusion, so we don't have to worry about that. So we have indeed come to the end. I thought we were near the end. That last one was just anytime we go to a convention with cosplayer safety, we actually put a snippet at the end saying, here is where the safe spaces are, here's where security is, this is their number, this is their email, so that way people have a resource. And thankfully, so far, the first time we did this panel, it was on the first day of the con, so like it was like the second or third panel of the day.
It worked. But yeah, throw any questions you have there in the chat. It's open question time. I mean, don't ask me what my shoe size is, but you can ask any of the questions on the panel, on our cosplays, what we've got going on next. What do you think of this like nighttime stream as well? I want to hear what you guys think as well. As far as the cosplayer safety, it's always an ongoing project. Times are always changing. Of course, this would have been different 20 years ago. So, we always are coming up with new things that are important to add in and consider.
Yep. So if you have any suggestions, let us know. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them now. But we can kind of cover, if you haven't noticed, even though we've been having some problems with the Facebook integration, we are managing to reconnect every week. But if you haven't noticed, we are back on Twitch. We've fixed the issues it was having. And we are always on YouTube. So if you want to follow us and watch us and get notifications, the fastest, most consistent way is going onto YouTube, clicking on that little subscribe and clicking the notification bell so that you actually receive notifications when we're streaming. And we actually have all of our streams scheduled out to the end of the year. So if you went to YouTube or Facebook and you checked out our live section, you will see all of the items that we have scheduled. If you do prefer to watch us on Facebook and you go to Cos Talk Live page, and you look at the events section, you can actually join the event of when we're going to be streaming, and you'll get notifications that way as well.
So for those of you not on Facebook, that's where you can find our Facebook. Obviously, if you are, then you already know where it is. Here we've got our YouTube.
And all of this is popping up in the comments section, just so everybody's aware. So I'm going to click on this. Hang on.
Yeah. And then our Twitch, of course. We always welcome new followers. da. All right. We also have a Discord. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I'm not ready this year. I can't remember what it's been so long since I've been on the Discord, guys. I'm sorry.
I could probably pull up the Discord. I have it.
I think I have a bit.ly that still works for it. Let's see. The bit.ly. Oh, yep, here we go. I'll just throw in the bit.ly. So if you guys want to join our Discord, I always say that you don't need to be a cosplayer. You just need to love cosplay. Chibi Rain Cloud is a great moderator on there. I apologize. I have not logged into Discord in years. That's an exaggeration, obviously. But it is a great way to communicate with us as well. You can always DM us on any of the platforms. Usually it's Sam or me that are catching those messages. If not, if it's one or the other and you need one or the other, I'm always happy to redirect things around. So since we have a couple more minutes here, we can talk about some other events that we've got coming up. Sam, you talked about
just a reminder, we're going to stream again this Sunday, and we're going to talk about booth setup and the pros and cons of what to have on your booth.
Why are you laughing?
Because like your posing's funny. You're just over here like doing little.
I'm making anime faces.
But yeah, for events coming up. So next week I'm going to Salt Lake FanX. I've never been there before.
I thought you had. Have you been to a FanX? No FanX.
No.
Okay, because they have a couple different FanXs, right?
I was at Phoenix Fan Fusion. Like they had a FanX once, but it wasn't actually like a FanX. They just
you mean the Fan Fest?
Fan Fest, yeah. I went to that.
Yeah. No, I was thinking.
But I've never been to a FanX before. So so I'm doing that, and then in October, the first week of October, which I believe is the 6th or 7th, it's like a Saturday and Sunday, we're doing YumaCon. So I'm going to be with the New Arizona Republic, and I'll probably be streaming from there. Then October 20th through the 21st through 22nd, I will be in Canada.
20th through the 22nd.
Yeah. Be streaming from Canada. Speaking of which, I need to double check that my phone carrier is indeed covered in Canada. It said it was, but I'm going to double check one more time.
PentiCon up in what city is that?
It's going to be the PentiCon. It is in British Columbia, Canada. The city is Penticton, I believe. Yes.
Okay, Penticton. Mm-hmm. And then that same weekend, I'm actually going to be working with the Asian Chamber Night Market. If you guys remember last year, Sam and I organized the cosplay contest for the Kamayan Festival Night Market. It's the same group that's doing it. But I'm going to be in a different capacity. I won't be in charge of cosplay because actually my full-time job is going to be there as well.
But it will still be a good event in Arizona if you want to go.
They will still have a cosplay contest. There's still going to be a lot of fun stuff going on there. They're doing a car show. They've got a lot of cool performers. So that weekend, the 20th and 21st.
Yeah. And then the final weekend of October, the 27th through the 29th, will be UwuCon. And if you haven't already, don't forget to submit your masquerade or cosplay contest application, because those are going to be closing at the end of this month. And panels have already been approved, and there's a lot more that are going to be posted tomorrow. I wanted to post them today, but life wasn't nice to me today.
Life said no.
Yeah, I was like, no, Sam, you're not going to get anything done. I did put my laundry away. That's
good job. Me too. No, I folded it. I haven't put it away yet.
Yeah. And then after that, I think the only event that we have is possibly, I know I'm going to LA Comic-Con, and if I think you were talking about doing it too. If you don't go to LA Comic-Con, though, I think we're going to have some people going to the LibCon West, which is at the Glendale Public Library on, I believe, December 2nd.
2nd is that Saturday. And I love the LibCons, but yeah, it's like if I don't go to LA Comic-Con with you, I'll go to LibCon, but I'm really gearing towards going to LA Comic-Con. And I'm sorry that I'm
submitting panels to LA, guys. If you have ideas of what panels I should submit, tell me. I have so many.
So yeah, and then after that is Christmas. Like
we're taking a break. We are taking a break for a period of time during Christmas. Let me double check. I've got the list right here. I think we're taking a break from from after December 10th until the new year.
Ooh. Ooh. And then also my birthday is December 4th, just FYI. I'm going to be turning 40. Yes, I'm turning 40. That's why I'm probably going to go to LA Comic Con with Sam. But also you can find my Amazon wish list on my Instagram profile, just FYI. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, Sam, where can everybody find you on the interwebs?
Thermocosplay.com. Just go there. I started updating things. I'm getting there.
Yay! You remind me, I need to update mine, jinxcosplay.com. But on socials, I am at the Jinx Cosplay because I didn't make it in time for Jinx Cosplay. And then, of course, we stream live. Check our schedules. We have a variety of times where we stream.
Yeah,
but
we
I
started
think it's
rotating
mostly,
it to help accommodate other people because some
and it's
people were
Wednesdays
making
and
suggestions.
Sundays, right?
It's
Just Wednesdays.
Wednesdays and Sundays, but the time will change. The only time it's not on Sunday is when I'm going to Salt Lake. It's going to be on a Saturday because nothing's open in Utah on Sunday, apparently.
Yeah, so depending on if we stream from an event, it'll be different. So make sure you check our schedules. And we would love to see you guys in our next show or watch us on Sunday at 12 o'clock.
Talk about booth
Facebook,
design and
YouTube.
setup.
Woohoo! All right. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Bye.